My name is John Ripple. I am a Canton SCORE volunteer, and I'm also the presenter of this workshop today. So this webinar is being sponsored and hosted by Canton SCORE, along with the Start Community Foundation, the Hoover Foundation, Stark State College, and the Small Business Growth Network. So I would like to talk just a little bit about SCORE before we get started. And for those that are not familiar with SCORE, say, well, what is SCORE? So SCORE is a nonprofit, and they've been around since 1964. The SCORE's mission is to help small businesses survive through mentoring and education. No matter whether you're starting a business or whether you're trying to grow your business or you're transitioning your business, SCORE will have a mentor to help you through the process. SCORE volunteers and mentors are required to follow a strict code of ethics, which includes not making money from clients, not using clients' data for commercial purposes, and the mentoring sessions are strictly confidential. SCORE is a resource partner of the Small Business Administration, commonly known as SBA. There are over 200 SCORE chapters across the United States with over 10,000 volunteers. SCORE offers counseling that is free of charge for both for-profit and nonprofit businesses. So do reach out to SCORE if you have any type of operational issues, and if you are interested in volunteering for SCORE, we can always use additional people. So here's the QR code that you can access. So a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to be covering a lot of material today, and it will be quite educational. And hopefully by the time we're done in an hour and a half, that you'll be a semi-expert on being able to craft a winning business plan. If you do have questions during the webinar, there is a Q&A tab at the bottom of the screen. Please put your questions in the Q&A tab. We really appreciate it if you avoid putting questions in the chat tab. You can use the chat to actually communicate amongst yourselves. So we'll be attempting to monitor the Q&A tab to answer your questions you may have. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted on the cantonscore.org website. You'll also be provided with a link to this recording, and you'll also be receiving a copy of the PowerPoint. So with that, let's get started. This is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what is a business plan. We're going to take a look at the elephant in the room, and that deals with AI. Can we use AI to generate a business plan? Is it a good idea or is it a bad idea? Who should have a business plan? We're also going to look at the benefits of the business plan. We're going to look at key elements of the business plan. We're also going to look at measuring the results in the business plan. And then we'll have a brief summary. So a little bit about myself. I had the pleasure of working for a large company located in Canton, Ohio for almost 39 years. I actually worked at one of their facilities in Bucyrus, Ohio for almost 30 years. And I was responsible for a plant operations for over 25 years. And we actually were in the business of shipping products around the world, as well as receiving products from around the world. And even though I was part of the big company, the plant I was running was treated as though it was a small business. So I actually had to create a business plan every year And the business plan not only serviced the local plant, but it also had to support the corporate business plan. Personally, I referred to the business plan quite frequently. I would actually hold quarterly meetings with the associates. We were a 24-hour operation, 7 days a week. And on a quarterly basis, I would update all the associates on how we were doing against the business plan. And where we were doing good, we had celebrations on the successes that we've made, and where we needed help on accomplishing shortfalls in the business plan, we put together strategies to address those. And we all needed to work together as a team to accomplish the ultimate goals within the business plan. So that's a little bit about me. So let's get started. So what is a business plan? You know, a business plan is really a document that details information. And in reality, it's really putting the thoughts that you have in your brain on how you want to start a business or run a business and put it on paper. It looks like, you know, how and why you want to run a business. It looks at how you promote and market your products and services. It also looks at how you plan to fund your business. Where's the capital coming from? It forces you to also look at who your customers are. And the business plan will literally lay out a written plan from the marketing perspective to the financial perspective, as well as the operational viewpoint. So again, it's primarily documenting the thoughts that are in your head and putting it in a formal process on paper. So, you know, why write a business plan? Well, again, it really helps to organize your thoughts. And organizing your thoughts works better if you have it documented on paper. You know, it provides a view of your market conditions, you know, identifies your business opportunities, whether positive or negative. It recognizes obstacles to growth. It forces you to look at your marketing and operational approach to your business. You know, it also plans for all the elements of creating a successful business. And more importantly, it's truly a requirement if you want to go out and seek funds, whether you're trying to get it from a lending institution, SBA, or even partners. If you have a detailed business plan, it really shows that you put some thought into your business as a whole. And last but not least, it facilitates a go, no-go decision for your business, especially if you're starting out as a new business, you have new ideas. Going through the business plan process, going through the marketing, the financials, the operational, the overall starting costs, and so forth, you get a good idea on whether you're going to have a products and service that can bring in enough income to pay the bills. And if you do not, if through your research you do not have enough funds, then that's the time to say, let's step back and look at something different. You say it's a no-go, and before you put too much capital into your ideas, you step back and go in a different direction. So let's take a look at the AI. You know, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? So let's look at some of the AI challenges that I've come across and have actually experienced as well. One of them, the challenges with the AI is the lack of deep market insight. You know, AI really doesn't have real-time access to the private market data or insider industry knowledge. It's going based on past information that's available. So how do you get around this? It may give you outdated trends or generic competitors' ideas and lists. And one way to get around that is to feed it more detailed information in order to pinpoint exactly what you want to get from AI. Another challenge is the generic or vague output. AI tends to give what I'll call safe or generalized answers. Again, it will do that unless you provide very specific prompts. As an example, instead of a tailored marketing plan, it might suggest, use social media marketing. That's pretty generic. One way around that, the solution is to refine your prompts with details like what audience you're going after, the budget that you have to use, as well as define your niche market. Another challenge is missing local or legal requirements. AI doesn't know the local laws. It doesn't understand the licensing requirements. It doesn't understand compliance regulations unless you tell it. So as an example, it might miss zoning laws or tax rules that are specific to your state or county. The solution to that is result in consult in literally local experts, whether it's your lawyer, your CPA, or whomever that can provide you with that detailed information. It may not come from AI. Another one is false confidence in the financials. AI can create nice looking financial projections, but they're really just estimates based on assumptions, not real data. So as an example, it may give you suggested revenue may be unrealistic for your given market that you're in. Again, the solution to that is you base your financial on real costs. Feed it actual data, feed it customer data, or industry benchmarks. You give it more detailed prompts to overcome its weakness in giving you generic information back. Another one is the lack of strategic depth. AI can structure and write a business plan, but it doesn't replace strategic thinking or your personal experiences. As an example, it might suggest standard pricing models. It might be missing your unique value proposition. The solution around that, again, is to use AI to support your decision, not make your decision. Another characteristic is that you can be over-reliant on AI. There is absolutely a risk of creating a business plan that sounds polished but lacks true originality or understanding. I have experienced personally a number of clients that have used AI to create a business plan, and generally you can tell if it's written by a robot. It doesn't come across real, and that will come across too as well if you're going to any type of a lending institution. And if that occurs, more than likely your business plan will be put in the trash can. The solution is to literally treat AI as a co-writer or assistant, not a replacement for your business instincts. So one of the last things I'll mention is a limited ability to predict feasibility. Now, AI can generate predictions, but it lacks firsthand experience. making it reliable for testing the real world feasibility and assumptions. It really needs the personal experience input from you on your business. So while AI can be a helpful tool for research and structuring the business plan, AI should be used as a complement to your business plan rather than a replacement for your own analysis, creativity, and your personal expertise in your field of interest. So that's some of the challenges. So what are some of the benefits around AI? Well, the first one is probably a no-brainer. It's speed and efficiency. Now, AI can generate entire sections of a business plan literally in minutes. It'll save you hours upon hours of research, writing and formatting the business plan. So as an example, you can create literally a full outline, including the executive summary and market analysis in one setting. The second benefit is cost effective. Excuse me, hiring consultants or writers and how you value your own time can literally cost you thousands of dollars. So AI can offer a low cost or even free alternatives for startups on a budget. As an example, Chat GPT, even the free version of Chat GPT can help structure and refine your business plan. Structured guidance is a benefit. AI follows proven business plan formats, so you don't miss any key section within a business plan. It helps beginners especially who don't know or understand how to write a business plan or even where to start. As an example, you'll be guided to include things like SWOT analysis, and we'll touch base on the meaning of that a little later. We'll look at revenue models. It can help you target market data as well. So all those are very positive things that AI can do to help you in structuring your business plan. So another benefit is a brainstorming partner. AI can literally helps you generate creative ideas for products and services, for marketing, for pricing, and so forth. It can actually show you different business models or strategies that you haven't considered. As an example, you can tell AI to give me 3 marketing strategies for a local fitness app. And it may come back and give you ideas that you've never even thought about. Another positive is tailored content. With the right prompts, AI can write industrial specific or even audience targeted plans. You can adjust the tone of your business plan. You can have AI create a professional version, a persuasive version of your business plan. You can have it create an investor-ready type of business plan. It's limitless in what you can do. As an example, you can have AI rewrite your business plan for a pitch to investors who care about sustainability. And it will literally do that within minutes. Another benefit is the financial estimator. The AI can literally help create basic forecasts, cost breakdowns, as well as profit projections. It can literally explain financial concepts clearly to a person that is a non-financial, has no financial background. As an example, you can ask it to estimate year one cash flow for, we'll say, a coffee shop with 30 seats, and they charge $4 on average per cup of coffee. It can come back with a lot of financial information just based on that information that you inputted. Repetitive editing. AI can quickly revise the content. It can shorten it. It can expand it. You can have it reword it. You can have it even clarify things within it. So you can prompt it to do many things. Again, that's a benefit. The more prompts you give to it, the more refined the business plan will be when it comes back. It literally makes it easier to update your plan as your business evolves. As an example of this, you can make a marketing plan more focused, let's say on Gen Z consumers. So you can literally tell or ask AI to rewrite your marketing plan for Gen Zers. Accessibility. You don't need to be a business expert using AI to write a business plan. The AI tools are accessible to virtually beginners, to students, people that have been in business for years. It doesn't matter who you are and the experience level that you may have. It's also a good learning tool. You can, writing a business plan with AI may help you understand your business even better. It will allow you to literally learn as you go. And you can learn about your market, the modeling of your business, what investors care about. As an example, you can have AI explain what a break-even analysis is, and it will actually help you on calculating it and show you how it's calculated. So you can be a person that knows the word break even, but you don't know how it's calculated. You can have AI actually do that for you. So what are some of the platforms that are supporting AI? And typically, AI are systems that either have software or hardware or a combination of both. AI provides the tools, the infrastructure, and even the environment needed to develop, to deploy, and to run an artificial intelligence application. Some of the AI platforms, they're primarily provided by large tech companies today as a service over the internet. They offer ready-made AI models. They also offer data storage. They also provide development tools. So a couple of the examples that are out there is, and you may have heard of most of these, the Google Gemini, you have Microsoft Copilot, IBM Watson, you have Facebook Meta, you have Chat GPT, Perplexity, and even Adobe Sensei. All of these are, I'll say, good platforms. A lot of them offer free versions. And if you get into a monthly charge version, you can even get more feedback from the AI. So with that, let's move on. So we'll talk about who should have a business plan. So it literally gets down to anybody that is running a business that's for profit or a nonprofit should have a business plan. Again, to reinforce it, it forces you to think about aspects of your business. The business plan will help you identify and highlight problems. It will help explain your concept, especially if you need to develop, and you should develop an elevator speech that gives you an overview of your business, comes directly from the business plan. It helps you to prepare for meetings with clients, investors, and other interested parties. Along with that, any business that has been around for a while, whether it's a for-profit or nonprofit, should have a business plan. So any ongoing business that has not had a business plan should really consider developing the business plan. It helps to create a roadmap for guiding the growth and the continued success of your business. It helps you focus the owners as well as the associates on actions that need to be taken within the business in order to achieve the goals of the business plan. It literally also provides you a future vision of your business. Also, it helps you with the vision or mission of your business as well. And lastly, it provides metrics to measure your success against your business plan, which is really, really important. So, where do we get started? So, typically, with clients, I say you really need to look at yourself. You need to do a personal assessment. And you start by looking at the primary issues that affects all business. I like to call them issues, or they could be called buckets in a business. And there's generally 4 areas within a business that strongly affects your business. You have the financial portion, you have the human resource portion, you have the products and service, and you have the marketing and sales. So within each one of those buckets, you need to personally understand what knowledge you have for each one of those buckets. Where's your area of expertise? This is where it's good to do what is called a SWOT analysis. And SWOT is an acronym that means that you identify your own strengths, your own weaknesses, the opportunities that exist, and the threats that are inherent in each one of those 4 areas of the business. So you identify where you're good, and you identify where you're not as strong, and you need to get help from somebody else. So if you're good at the products and service, and you're not good in the finance portion of it, you find a weak spot there, get help and bring somebody in there that can help you understand that portion of it. So, what are some of the benefits of a business plan? Well, it helps to stay focused, and by having defined strategies can literally help when the business model changes. We all experienced COVID-19. Can you imagine that literally every business in the world had to change their business plan when COVID-19 hit? Those businesses that were not prepared or flexible to change during COVID didn't fail. They didn't survive, excuse me. They failed. So it is very important to not only understand your business plan, but also having in your mind strategies that if something goes wrong, you need to change direction quickly and effectively. It also can give you advantages over your competitors, because building your business plan will cover, you will go out and search your competitors and you'll perform a SWOT analysis on your competitors, so to the point where you should know your competitors as well as they know themselves. So with that, we're going to look at 5 specific benefits. One of them is it delivers your marketing approach. It defines your target audience, who you're going to sell your products and services to. It defines your unique selling point, or I like to refer to as niche, that allows you to stand out and make a difference between you and your competitor. It also helps you to define tactics that will best reach your potential clients as well as customers. The second thing is that it helps manage your growth, versus whether you're on an upswing, or if we're into a recession, the downswing, or we have a major crisis like when COVID hit. As your business evolves, many things change. On a yearly basis, your budget will probably change. Your products and services that you sell may change. The number of employees that you have to have will change. Your financials will change. Your client targets could change. All this could happen, and the business plan, by tweaking it, can help you adjust to those changes that may occur. Number 3, it identifies and monitors your objectives, how much and by when. Setting and following through on goals is literally an integral part of the success of your business. Your business plan lets you decide and keep track of where you are now and where you want to be X number of months or years in the future. It also helps with the cycle of business planning, keeps you on target through regular meetings and updates. As I mentioned, I held quarterly meetings with all the employees to keep them apprised of where we stood collectively against the business plan. So it also, then number 4, aids in obtaining funding. Potential investors will have a variety of questions about your potential or even your existing business when you're going to ask for funds. A complete business plan not only provides investors with the necessary answers, but actually shows that you are organized and have considered all the marketing, the legal aspects of your business, the financials, the human resource, and other aspects of running your business. A thorough business plan will greatly increase your chance to obtain the venture capital through a bank loan. And the 5th one is it manages organizational and employee requirements. It literally helps you to determine who within your organization is filling the variety of jobs within your company. It helps to identify whether you could benefit from more or less staff. Also on how you will go about recruiting new employees. So let's look at the key elements of the business plan. There are generally 7 or 8 sections that make up a business plan. And to be quite honest, there is no perfect business plan out there. but there is a format to follow that will ensure the best outcome for your business and you on trying to promote your business to investors or other parties that are interested in your business. So the first element is the executive summary, and we'll talk about each one of these individually. The second portion is the general company description, which typically will include the vision statement, the mission statement, the goals and objectives. The next section of the business plan is the marketing environment. That's where you talk about your products and or services that you're going to offer, the industry and competitive analysis. The next section deals with market research. Then there's a section on the marketing plan, which includes marketing strategy and what's also called the marketing mix. And we'll get into those details later. So if you notice so far, there's 3 different sections dealing with marketing. So marketing is a very important part of the business plan. The next section typically deals with the operational plan. You know, what's the location of your company? Do you have a brick and mortar? Are you going to work out of your home? Just how it's going to be set up, the layout, as well as the management of the company. Then the other important section deals with the financials. It looks at the investment that's going to be required, the projected financial statements associated with your business. And then the last one is what's called the appendices, and that's typically the supporting data that you use to develop the actual business plan itself. So let's get started in each one of these. Oh, but I want to throw in that SCORE does have templates out there. So you can actually go out to score.org, and under templates and tools, you can actually get a very good template for a business plan. Also, I like to use a website out there that has business plans that are already been created. So you could literally go out and see how other businesses that might be similar to what you're trying to start up, or even if you have an ongoing business, and see how they wrote a business plan. So that's under www.bplans.com. And the last I looked, they had over 700 different plans that are already written. So before we get into each individual elements of the business plan, I did want to throw something out there about nonprofit business plans. Yeah, as I mentioned, that nonprofits should write a business plan just like a for-profit, but there are just minor differences on a nonprofit. You know, a nonprofit, if you're not aware, they cannot go out and get a loan. They can't go out and get investors. All their funds, and it has to come from fundraising or through grants and donations. So also nonprofits, they must show a realistic fundraising plan. They also, the earnings cannot be distributed, as there literally are no owners of a nonprofit. If a nonprofit goes out of business, the monies that are left over goes to another nonprofit that's similar in nature. SCORE is a nonprofit. We actually have to go out and raise our own funds to stay solvent, if you will. We go out and get grants, we get donations, and we do fundraising as well. Nonprofits, they should have a board of trustees, and that board will select the typically called the chief executive, or the person who's going to run the operation. If you're writing your business plan or just starting out with your nonprofit, if you know the board members, you should include them in your business plan. Also, then SCORE has within the website a template that can help nonprofits through that process, and that's the link to that. And again, you'll be provided this information so you don't have to copy anything down. So now let's get into each element. So we're going to look first at the executive summary. So the executive summary is the last thing you write. So the executive summary means what it says. It is a summary, and it's a summary of your business plan. Typically, the executive summary should be 3/4 of a page to no more than a page and a half. Anything longer than that, more than likely it will end up in the trash can because it's just too much to read. The first paragraph of the executive summary, typically, you'll introduce the business and the business concept. You'll include the guiding principles of your business. You'll mention your vision and mission statement. You'll look at you'll document the company goals as well. In the second paragraph, you'll discuss the target market and your niche. What is it that's making you different than your competitors? You'll explain briefly, why you will succeed. The third paragraph is planned sources of capital and importantly, the repayment plan. When you go to a bank and requesting for a loan, the bank is going to want to be confident that you'll be bringing in enough income to pay off the loan. Otherwise, they more likely will not lend you the money because they are obviously the ones putting out the risk. Then the fourth paragraph is, in the last paragraph, introduces the management team. So now let's look at the second element, which has to do with the general company description. So we typically include a vision statement and a mission statement. And many people that I've talked to or clients that I've had over the years, they kind of freak out when they say, when you mention that you have to have a vision and a mission statement, because they really don't understand what they are. I try to make things relatively simple. Where a vision is where you see your business in the future, looking 2 or 3 years out, no more than that. So vision is where you see yourself and your business 2, 3 years out. The mission statement basically defines how you're going to achieve your vision. How are you going to get there? And I got a couple examples. I think everyone is familiar with Amazon. So I pulled up Amazon's vision and mission statement. Amazon's vision says, our vision is to be Earth's most customer-centric company where customers can find and discover anything they may want to buy online at the lowest possible price. That's pretty neat vision. And if you notice, the vision isn't long. It's one sentence long. So on Amazon's mission, or how they're going to do this, says we strive to offer our customer the lowest possible prices, the best available selection, and the utmost convenience. So that's how they're going to achieve their vision. I got another example everyone should be somewhat familiar with, and that's Nike, the athletic shoes. So Nike's vision is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. That's it. That's their vision. One sentence long. Their mission is to do everything possible to expand human potential. We do that by creating groundbreaking sport innovations, by making our products more sustainably, by building a creative and diverse global team, and by making a positive impact in communities where we live and work. It's pretty powerful. So again, it's not that difficult. Vision is where you see yourself in your business 2-3 years from now. Mission is how you're going to get there. Then there's the guiding principles are basically a set of moral values that will establish the framework of your business and ultimately your decision making. Company goals and objectives. You're going to probably hear, you'll hear more about this in a little bit, but one of the things that we want to clarify, make clear to you, is your goals and objectives should be what we call SMART goals and objectives. And SMART is another acronym that we use in the business world that means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So if you set goals and objectives that are not SMART, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, then they shouldn't be goals or objectives. So it's a good acronym to live by when you are developing your goals and objectives for your business. So I'm going to throw in a kind of what I like call a bonus slide. And I've used this in my business career. And this is the 5 levels of strategic planning and problem solving. And if you use this format for any type of problem, any type of strategic planning, it will literally walk you through the process and you'll be successful. So the first level deals with the strategic theme, or a lot of times referred to the what's a pillar of your company, what makes up your company. And typically a pillar will be dealing with quality, will be dealing with customers or clients. Another pillar might be productivity. Another pillar might be the financials. So again, it's the main pillars of your company. Every problem that occurs within a company will relate back to one of the primary pillars within a company. The next level is goals. So when you have a problem, you got goals you want to achieve to solve the problem. In essence, the goal is what the end result looks like. What do you expect? What do you are expecting the outcome to look like? And the goals should be SMART, as we mentioned, should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So the next level then are the objectives. And the objectives deals with how much and by when. It's a measurable result. So the objectives actually then supports the goals. It's the next level of the SMART. You have to make sure that they're specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. The next level deals with the strategies. And you can think of this level as the different projects that will help you literally move the needle towards the objective you've set. So it's the individual projects are kind of on a macro level, if you will. Then the last one is the tactics, and this is literally when the rubber meets the road. The tactics are the specific assignments that you'll try to complete in order to finish your project. And let me do a personal correlation to how this thing works. So on a personal basis, I go back to the strategic theme. For me personally, I want to be healthier. So that's my one of my pillars. I want to be healthy on a personal basis. My goal may be to lose weight. Okay, that's measurable. My objective is when it gets into more details, I'm going to say I want to lose 25 pounds in 6 months. Again, that's specific, that's measurable. The strategy is that what are the different things I'm going to do? Well, one of the things I'm going to work out in a gym. Then the tactic where the rubber kind of like meets the road, what is it I'm going to do? I'm going to work out perhaps on a treadmill. I'm going to go swimming, might lift weights, might do yoga. All these tactics then are measurable. So if you can complete your tactics, you'll be able to satisfy your strategies, you'll satisfy objectives, you'll meet your goals, which then helps to support your business pillar. So again, very good tool that I've used throughout my business career, and it works. So let's move on to the next section of the business plan that deals with the market environment. So the market environment basically it defines the business concept. What are your products and or services? It looks at the customer, what their needs are, the size and growth of the market. In many cases, you may identify needs that a customer doesn't even know they need. It looks at then your competitors, looks at their strengths and weaknesses, part of what we call the SWOT analysis, to look at where they are strong, to where they are weak, and what share of market they have, and then look at what potential niche within that market that you can grab. It looks at relevant uncontrollable factors like the economy as a whole, the technologies that are associated with your products and services, the legal and regulations, the demographics around your business area as well. It also looks at your business focus and your unique competencies. So we're going to look at then the market research associated with your business. You as part of your market research, you look at who are your potential customers. What size is the potential market. Where can you reach them? Are you going to be county-wide? Are you going to be statewide? Are you going to go beyond the boundaries of the states? You're going to go international. So where is it, and where can you reach your potential customers? What do the customers want, or what are their needs? And as I mentioned, they may not know they need your products or services. So that's one of the marketing tactics to identify a need that they didn't know they wanted. You look at how do your potential customers behave. So this is where you then have the opportunity to create your own market position, your specific niche of where you'll fit in to the market. You'll fill the gap that's not being provided by your competitors that are out there. So continue with the market research. You look at the geographic or the location of where you're going to be. You look at the demographics. You look at the potential age of your customers, the gender, the income, the education that are associated with your potential customers. Unique area referred to as the psychographics of your potential customers. You look at their values, their lifestyle, the personality traits, the social groups that are associated with the group of people. Also, then you look at the behavioral. You look at the purchasing behaviors. You know, I mentioned there as an example are the potential customers that you have, are they brand loyal? Are they willing to go generic? Do they shop at Walmart? Do they shop at Dollar General? Or do they shop at Target and other higher end locations? Are they responsive to price, as an example? If the price goes up, do they stop buying? If the price goes down, do they buy? So where do they fall within that behavior? So now we move on to the next section, and that deals with the marketing plan. And you look at the overall strategy of your business. You identify your overall approaches for success. You look at and describe the competition. So this is literally where you're documenting all your research that you've collected, and you put it in a structured format, and you start developing your strategies around your marketing approach. You identify your niche and your advantage of your niche over your competitors. You identified your target. You know, who's your customer? You know, what is the end result of what the customers want and need? So continue in the marketing plan, we mentioned early on about the marketing mix within the plan. There's typically they refer to as the 4 Ps. You have the product, you have pricing, you have promotion, and you have place. So you have the 4 Ps. So we'll take a look at each one of those individually. So when it comes to the products, and I'll throw in indoor services, you want to step back and look at this through the eyes of the customer. What is it from the customer's point of view? So you want to look at describing your products and services, again, from the eyes of the customer. You want to look at software support through the eyes of the customer. The benefits to the customer for your products and services. Suppliers and backup, because many customers, they don't like to hear the excuse that you have a breakdown in suppliers. They'll go to the competitor right away. So you have to look at what's my backup plan in case there's a hiccup in supplies. A number of small businesses may be going through that right now with the potential tariffs that are going in. If customers or if small businesses have some of their supplies coming from overseas, there may be an interruption or it might be some sort of a price hike associated with that. So you need to consider that and have a plan in place. From a customer's perspective, you need to look at the post-sales and services and the policies associated with that. When it comes to price, I always like to stress, lowest price may not be a good policy for you. So it really depends on your customers that you're going after. Low price may have the perception of poor quality, and you don't want that perception to be out there. So you need to look at what is the different programs or packages or combination of programs and different packages that you may have out there that adds value to the required price of your product and service. You look at the after sale customer service or support, the warranty associated with your products, your refund policy. Do you have a no questions asked refund, as an example? All that comes into play on how you price your product and how the customer perceives you. Are you adding value to them as a customer? Also want to look at the credit. You're going to extend credit to customers, or you're going to do or you're going to have a fast pay policy, which basically means you pay in cash or credit card or debit card. All things that need to be considered. When it comes to promotion of your products and services, you have to consider a budget for your media blitz, and you look at how you're going to use social media. It's not a question if you're going to, but how. What platforms are you going to use? You're going to use Instagram, you're going to use Facebook, you're going to use X, whatever, or combination thereof, of how you're going to go out and reach those potential customers to look at your products and services. Then you have to have the budget associated with advertising. You're going to use the media. You're going to go to trade shows. You're going to advertise in catalogs. And there's a variety of other things that you can do in regards to advertising. So to continue on with that, you look at the communications program, both internal as well as external. Internal to your business, external is the outside world. Make sure that you're aware of the image and reputation of your business and how you're communicating both internal and external. You want to be consistent. You want to look at graphics, image. Do you have a logo for your business? If you do, that logo should be consistent across everything, from garments you wear, the hats that you have, to stationery, to websites, to emails that go out. Everything should have your graphic image so that they can relate. This is your business, your logo. And then the challenge always is to get repeat customers. You don't want the one and done customers. The goal is to have something in place that will keep drawing that customer back. Do you need to incorporate a loyalty program as an example? Do you have follow-up emails that can go out to your customers? Do you have the old style called punch card, where after so many visits, they can get something that's of value to them? Then last, we look at the last of the 4 P's, look at place. Location, 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 as they say in real estate, means a lot. It could be viewed important to the customer if you're located in Bellin Village versus a non-desirable location. It could impact the type of people that you want to come to your storefront. Be consistent on your image. If you want to have high quality products and services, your structure needs to show the same. Where are you in regards to your competitors? Are you across the street so you can keep an eye on it, literally? Was it CVS and Rite Aid? They typically build catty corner to each other. Those are the type of things you just need to consider. Also, how is it you're going to distribute your products and services? Are you going to do the direct sale like we've been talking about? Are you going to use the retail outlets? You're going to craft fairs, catalogs, email marketing, e-commerce, home shopping network, Amazon, eBay, and so forth. There's a lot of them out there. Or are you going to go the distributor and wholesale route? No matter which way you go, you need to make sure you avoid any conflicts between the channels. Lastly, you look at, are you going to be dealing with the government and institutions? Those are the 2 areas that are probably the most challenging to get involved with. So continuing with the marketing plan and dealing with the financial portion of it, you have to look at the sales forecast. And typically, when you're putting together a sales forecast, you go month by month projections going out 2 years, and you do quarterly going out to the 3rd year. Now, if you're a business that's been in business, you can have historical sales. Absolutely include that. So you can see past trends. If you don't, then you use your market research to identify your potential monthly sales. So that's not an easy process, but you have to start somewhere. So when you do your sales forecast, absolutely include your assumptions. And when you SCORE also then has templates available that can help you in this area, where we can actually have a spreadsheet that can help you with defining the income statement, the balance sheet, as well as the cash flow. So don't hesitate to actually reach out to SCORE to get these tools that are out there. The next section of the business plan deals with the operational plan. The location, if you're going to have brick and mortar, what size it need to be, the space, the costs associated, you're going to buy, you're going to rent, what's the growth potential, what type of lease agreement will you have, accessibility. Is it going to be easy for the customers and suppliers to get into your store business? The support services, excuse me, the parking, even the hours associated with what your business is going to be open. You need to think about special requirements such as utilities and water. Since if you're in Ohio in the Northeast, you got to think about weather. You're going to need snow removal, as an example. Just things you need to think about and to consider. Also, in the operational plan, you need to look at the professional and advisory support. And especially for nonprofits, you will have a board of directors. Normally, only large companies that are for-profit will have boards, but smaller companies may have a management advisory board. And there's a number of those that are available in Ohio and in the Northeast. You may have an attorney that helps you out, an accountant. You have to think about insurance, consultants to help you with different aspects of your business, as well as mentors. And that's where SCORE can come into play, and we can help mentor you through many of the processes. The next section of the business plan deals with the financials. We need to look at the total investment that's required, especially if you're going to be starting up a business. You have to look at the initial investment that's literally required to open the doors. You need to consider the operating losses that you'll incur, because more than likely when you open the door, it could be the first year plus that you'll be losing money. So you have to make sure you have capital available to bridge that gap to when you'll be making enough money to earn an actual profit. So typically you should have a contingency funds anywhere around 20% if you're a high-risk business, and typically I refer to a high-risk business as ones that's seasonal, or if you own a restaurant, considered high risk. You look then capitalization. You look at the proposed sources and the investment amounts in ownership of your business. Basically, where's the money coming from to help you get started? Are you having family members contribute monies? Are you going to bring in your own money to start up the business? Are you going to go to a lending institution, or do you need to go to SBA for a potential loan as well? So again, make use of the startup templates that SCORE has. We have, I mentioned earlier, a wonderful spreadsheet that literally will hold your hand through the process, and things to consider is to be included in your startup costs. So the financial statements that are required. We typically look at the profit and loss, what they refer to as the P&L, also referred to as the income statement. So you have a profit and loss and income statement basically are synonymous to each other. You want to look at these statements going out 2 years by month. And then as earlier as we stated on the forecasting of sales, the third year you can do it by quarter. You want to look at your cash flow forecast. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this is where AI can come in and help you. If you're not familiar with how to generate these documents, they can actually help you with that, as well as with score templates. You need to look at the projected balance sheet as well. And then the break even. And going back to the balance sheet, you need to look at your assets that are associated with your business versus the liabilities and the owner's equity. So you look at your assets, does it equal your liabilities? Money's coming in, as an example, and your owner's equity, the money that you have invested in the business. So that's what the balance sheet comes in, and everything's got a balance. And the break even is basically a payback calculation of when you will achieve enough income to break even. And from that point on, you'll have an actual product. So again, SCORE has those templates that are out there. Don't hesitate to use them. So let's look at cash flow mistakes that can literally be killers for any type of business. Cash is king in a business. If you don't have cash, you're out. Your business will fold. Cash is literally the lifeblood of a business. I've had clients that have an income statement that looked really good, but their liabilities were so bad that they ended up going broke. They didn't have enough cash to pay the bills. So cash is literally king in any business, as well as a nonprofit. So failures that literally affect cash. One of them is accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is, it could be that your terms are too long. That being, a lot of companies will have terms set up that they won't pay you within 30 days. Some of them I've had in my old company I was involved with. We had one company that had the terms of 365. In other words, they wouldn't pay for the products for 365 days, which is very difficult. So as an example, if you're a small business and you're dealing with a large company, and when I was operating in Bucyrus, I dealt with a lot of small businesses around Bucyrus. One of my goals was to make sure that they stayed in business. So our terms was net 30. We wouldn't pay for services for 30 days. However, if a small business came knocking on my door and say, "John, can you help me on these terms?" we would talk about it. And in many cases, I was able to set up terms of net 5 for them. I'd literally pay them within 5 days to help them with their cash flow. And if you're a small business dealing with larger companies, don't hesitate to ask. The worst case they could do is say no. But then if you come forward to them and say, "If you can get me a lower terms, I can provide this for you at a better price." So it's a give and take. Another thing that deals with accounts receivable is literally bad risk, or you have customers that just aren't paying, and that's where coming up with you pay in cash or credit card is literally the best way of handling those situations, because you got your money immediately. Another area that affects the cash is your gross margin is too low. So for those people that aren't accounting experts, the gross margin is literally you take your total revenues that you bring in and you subtract from that your total cost of goods sold and or services provided. You subtract that from the total revenue, and that gives you your gross margin. So if you have poor cash flow, it could be that either you're not charging enough for goods or services, or your cost of goods are too high. And that's where you have to do some soul searching, working with your suppliers to lower the price of your goods coming in. Again, the example of the tariffs that are occurring, that's going to be a challenge. So, but again, if your gross margin is too low, it's either a result of revenues not being high enough or your cost of goods sold are too high. Another factor is inadequate financing. As we talked about earlier, if you underestimated your startup cost, you can run out of cash very quickly. If you underestimated what your operating costs are going to be, you're going to be short of cash very quickly. For those startups, you need to be, I'll say, very conservative. You need to make sure you build in a factor to allow for those months that you won't be bringing in enough cash to make a profit. So the very last thing of a business plan deals with the appendices. And that typically, and I won't go through I just listed some examples here. Again, the appendices is really the support data that you use to create your business plan. You may want to include the resumes of your management team. If you're going to have a storefront, you may want to have blueprints of the floor layout. You may want to have a map where it's located. You may want to have photos if you could do that. May want copies of contracts just to make sure that you have them there available in case the lending institution wants to see them. So again, these are examples of the support data that is used to build your business plan. Now, the last major section that we'll cover today deals with the measuring the results in a plan. So this is where, if you have a pen or a pencil, I would write this down. In my personal life, in business, I had two problem-solving sayings that I had. If you can write this down. The first one is, you cannot fix what you do not measure. You cannot fix what you do not measure. The second one is, you cannot track what you do not measure. So it's very, very similar. You cannot track what you do not measure. So what I had in my business world is which I recommend, is that you have a scorecard, and I call it a balanced scorecard. You balance it between the different pillars of your company. Typically, in any business, you'll have a pillar dealing with service, quality, safety, productivity, and finance, or something very similar to that. So I would develop a scorecard that has KPI or measurements that help support all those different pillars that are literally built into the business plan. So those performances, we call them key performance indicators or KPIs. What are the key performances that are in your business that are supporting your business plan, that supports your pillars of your business, your service, quality, safety, productivity, and financials? I would literally keep a a little 3x5 card. Now, today's environment, you can keep it on your iPhone or tablet or whatever. And I would literally walk around with the up-to-date KPIs that are associated with my business. You want to be consistent on your measurements. You know what I mean by that is do it monthly, weekly, quarterly, but be consistent on how you're measuring the results. Provide visuals wherever possible to display the performances. I would literally have charts out there where people would clock in dealing with quality and safety. Those were key for me, where I really didn't want anybody to lose the opportunity to work. So safety was very high. So I would literally have an electronic board that would indicate the number of days without a lost time accident. And by seeing that every day, it helps encourage people to work safely, because they don't want to be the one that takes that number down to zero. I would also then use these KPIs on update meetings with all the employees. As I mentioned earlier, I did it on a quarterly basis. I would have charts to see how are we doing against the different pillars of the company in the business plan. So it's literally shared. Nothing was hidden from the associates on our goals for our company, and really tried to stress that the survival of our business really depended on us collectively working as a team to achieve the goals and objectives of the company. So with that, we've come very close to the end. We're running out of time. So just a quick summary is that a business plan will provide sustainability of a business over a period of time. The business plan sends a message to investors, to advisors and stakeholders that you are serious about the business. You've put a lot of thought into it. The business plan minimizes risk and aids in a healthier organization. AI can be a useful tool, but make sure you use it as a tool and not as the gospel in writing the business plan. You must make the business plan your own. So use it as a partner in developing your plan. Also utilize score.org. We have a number of different templates out there that can help you, from the business plan templates to financial, startup templates and spreadsheets, to even cash flow templates. They're there free for you to actually use. And then lastly, take advantage of the resources that are out there on different websites that have business plans that are already written at www.bplans.com. It doesn't hurt to get ideas from somebody that's developed a business plan. One of my philosophy is don't reinvent the wheel. If somebody has done it already, take advantage of that and build upon that and make it your own. So with that, that really concludes what I have for today. Don't hesitate to reach out to SCORE. This is the information for Canton SCORE, or you can actually go out to SCORE National as well, no matter where you are, and you can get to the local SCORE chapter in your location. So are there any questions that may be out there? Vera, did you see any questions by any chance?
Yeah, there is one question in the Q&A. And first it says, you did a really great job with the webinar, John. You mentioned early on that you wrote a business plan for your organization every year. Mm-hmm. How did your annual business plan differ from your company's annual budget?
Well, obviously we fall under the corporate umbrella. So as a satellite company, we actually negotiated for a budget to support the operations. So it was my goal then to stay within the budget that was provided to me. And in many cases, we had to be creative on making improvements within the operation without directly impacting the budget. A lot of things could be dealing with productivity improvements, quality improvements, anything that required asset improvement. Then I had to work with corporate in order to get funding available. But we always, our local business plan was always focused on the local operations under the umbrella of the corporate company.
So you were like a division of the corporate.
We were like a small company, small business within the big company.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. I'm not seeing any others. I see some thank yous from Miriam Thompson, from Neva White. And one question, do you provide mentorship yourself?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay. And I think that that could be achieved by going to the Score Canton.
Yes, I got on the screen there.
Okay.
Score Canton, score.org/Canton.
And you would look up, you'll see mentors, and then you'd look up John's name and request him.
Yes.
Okay.
And just to remind everybody it's still on, you will receive a link to this webinar so you can view it at your own time. Also, you'll be receiving a copy of my PowerPoint slides.
There is one question in the chat. How would you submit a P&L statement for a startup business?
Well,
You don't necessarily have one yet, do you?
you don't, but it's really based on what you forecast your income to be, what your revenue is going to be. So, a profit and loss, you have an idea of what your costs are going to be, even though you're as startup, you need to come up with realistic expenses that are going to be associated with your business. You also need to come up with what you perceive to be realistic income. So from that, you can develop a profit loss or income statement.
Okay. And then one additional question. Someone wants to know what's your favorite book?
The Goal.
Okay.
If nobody's read the book The Goal, I would suggest you go out and do that. It's very business oriented, and it is an amazing book on how to lead a business.
Thank you, John. I have not read that, so I'll have to.
I'm surprised because it was a requirement at our company.
Didn't make it. Well, was that before or after I left? Remember, I was gone a long time before.
Yeah, it could be. No, it might have been just a requirement for us people in Bering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with that, then I appreciate everybody joining us today. You have a wonderful rest of your day.